Hey there, FinConner. Glad you're here at FinConX. My name is Brian Haney, founder of the Haney Company, but I'm probably better known as the That's My Financial Guy podcast host. I'm thrilled to be doing this session for you because it connects with a deep passion of mine, and that is helping consumers achieve financial freedom. I firmly believe all of us are in the human transformation business, since we all play a vital role in equipping consumers to help make informed financial decisions and move the needle in their lives. I'm also a firm believer in the power of partnership and in bringing professionals together from different parts of the financial spectrum to elevate the consumer experience and help bridge the wealth and information gap that has existed for far too long. So I hope you've got a notebook, because here we go. Why partner in the first place? Before we get into how to form an effective partnership, I think it's probably a good idea that we talk about why this is a good idea in the first place at all. Many people may think it might not even be necessary. So let me run through a quick list of reasons why I think forming a strategic partnership with a financial advisor, insurance professional, or both can be not only beneficial to your followers or your clients, but it can be good for your brand as well. Survey after survey reveal how financially challenged millions of Americans really are, and the pandemic has only magnified that fact. While there are tons of excellent resources available to allow consumers to help themselves, most still admit they would like the help of a professional to be sure they're doing the right thing. While reading blogs and listening to a podcast makes them a more informed consumer, it's often not enough to help them make all of the changes that they want to make. Partnerships can help bridge the wealth gap in our culture. Connecting more consumers effectively with financial professionals can definitely make a significant dent in addressing wealth disparities. And it helps people move from learning about things toward taking action. One of the most powerful forces in the universe is inertia. In today's digital world, where you have access to unlimited information right at your fingertips, psychologists have found that this increased amount of information may be hurting us more than it helps. With so much information out there, much of it conflicting, it can be hard for consumers to interpret things properly for themselves. That's where a financial advisor can make a big difference. When people ask me what I do, I simply tell them, I help people make the financial decisions that they want to make, but they just don't know how to make. I empower people to live enriched lives and not be held captive by financial stress. So, my role is part educator and part advocate to help clear through the confusion and enable my clients to choose wisely and move forward with confidence. That is what a good financial professional should do. Help people make informed decisions and navigate change as their lives unfold. And the right partners can become an extension of your own brand, one where you mutually build up one another. Great partners become great brand ambassadors for each other. So it's like having an extended marketing team. Partnering formally or informally may not be right for everyone, but when there's a good fit, it definitely elevates the value of what you offer, and it increases your potential for impact. Well, developing strategic partnerships can be a lot like dating. And no, I'm not a love doctor, and I promise this session won't get weird. But the analogy does paint a helpful framework for cultivating and developing solid partner relationships that can help your clients and your business. So whether you've had good success in courtships or not, let me walk you through the various stages of a strategic partner relationship to help you feel equipped to win at every step, and to also know when to pull the plug and dump the dud. As a good friend of mine once said, it all starts with kissing a lot of frogs. Well, hopefully that metaphor isn't entirely apropos, but with any potential partner or center of influence, you need to start by developing a short list of potential suitors. But since there's no such thing as financial advisor Tinder, how can you develop a good short list of qualified candidates? Well, it all starts with a good partner persona. Not unlike creating an effective buyer persona to enhance your marketing efforts, creating the right partner persona is critical. What are the professional qualifications you're looking for? What are the personal qualities you would want for your clients or followers? The real key is to get a good idea of how this partner might behave in a professional engagement. No, it's not an eHarmony profile, but it is extremely helpful to know what you're looking for and how to narrow your search effectively. So let me make a few suggestions on things you might want in that profile. Start by asking yourself, what kind of financial professional do you really need? It might not always be a financial advisor. Depending on someone's life stage and their level of sophistication, many people might be ready to walk but not run. Some may have insurance questions they need answered, so an independent insurance professional or an insurance advisor would be a good fit. Others might need help with investing but are really only getting started, so an advisor that does not have an account minimum and has the capacity to work with people of varying financial means could be a potential fit for them. Also, while many people are comfortable paying a fee, many others are not. So understanding the structure of the practice and how the financial professional is compensated is important. I think the mistake I've seen most people make most often is thinking that the best partner must be a CFP, or must use only Vanguard funds, or must be a fee-only professional. The financial industry is a wonderfully diverse world, so you might find that you need to have more than one resource for your clients. Sending everyone to a high-end wealth manager who is focused on comprehensive financial planning might be overwhelming, and it also might be premature. So let's go through a few more tips to help you narrow down your list of candidates, or perhaps point you in the right direction to begin your search. It should go without saying, but it's a digital world we live in, so your potential partners need to have a sufficient digital presence. Start with the obvious and check LinkedIn and Facebook profiles to get an idea of who the advisor is, what they seem to be about, and how engaged they are, or are not, in the digital marketplace. A small bit of advice. While not every advisor will have a blog or a podcast or produce a high volume of content, mostly due to compliance restrictions, do read the content and posts that they have on LinkedIn or Facebook to see if they are actually engaged with their audience or if it's a bunch of auto-generated posts with not a lot of forethought. Take time to look for credentials. The financial profession loves its alphabet soup, so find some advisors that have a designation or two. This not only elevates their credibility, it shows they're committed to specialization and growing their knowledge. Another tip when it comes to credentials, being a CFP is not the only designation to look for. In fact, I can argue it's only one of several high-value designations. So don't prematurely limit yourself to one designation. Instead, look for several and get to understand what each one means and why it matters. I, for one, have 6 designations, and each one is an extension of a particular area of specialization, such as being a certified income specialist focused on retirement income planning, for example. What kind of experience do they have? Have they received any recognition or won any awards that might indicate a track record of performance or success? While not everybody wins awards, it's worthwhile determining to see what level of skill or tenure this person might have. Associations can also help you find a local match. Are they a member of an industry association out the gate? This may not be something you've ever considered, but choosing to be a member of an industry association can be a big deal. For one, each association has a code of conduct that it holds its members to. So you know that an advisor who is voluntarily paying a membership fee each year to be a part of that association takes his or her job seriously. Industry groups such as CPCU, Million Dollar Roundtable, NAFA, and many others also help you search for their members by geography. On this slide, I've listed a couple websites that might be helpful, but they're not the only ones out there. Okay, you've done a little internet stalking, and now that you have a few suitors, it's a good idea to walk before you run. So, how might you go about dating a potential advisor? Or maybe a better question is, What do you want to get out of the dating part of the relationship? I have a few helpful tips and ideas here as well that are better than just getting a few free meals or drinks. You know, when we used to be able to go places and do stuff. Since you're trying to determine if this might be a fit, but you're still getting to know one another, a wonderful way to feel out potential synergy is to share in one another's content. Have them as a guest on your show. It may seem simple, but you'd be surprised how much you can tell about a professional simply by doing an interview with them. For example, I had the amazing privilege of being a guest of Adam Coles on his Equal Partners podcast. Adam is a fellow FinConner who shared my commitment to diversity. The interview really allowed us to connect, discussing things that we were both passionate about and had in common, and also became a great episode that we could both share across our networks. Adam and I now regularly connect online and promote each other through social media, and I hope to be able to work more strategically with him in the future. It was a great experience. You can also consider being a guest on their show as well, if they have one. One of the most downloaded podcast episodes I have was my interview with the financial coaching genius herself, Kelsa Dickey, another fellow FinConner. We had a wonderful conversation that my listeners really got a lot of value from, and we both also enjoyed a good rapport in discussing areas of professional connection and synergy. I thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to highlight the great work Kelsa is doing and to get to know her practice, and it's opened doors for me to become a brand ambassador for her, and it will certainly lead to some good referrals heading her way in the near future. You could co-write a blog or produce some other content together. Working on a project together can tell you a lot about this person's professional capacity. Content creation reveals a lot. If the interview was dry or felt like you were pulling teeth, that may tell you what a client experience might be like. It's a wonderful way to assess personality and a variety of intangibles as well. And even if things don't work out, hopefully you'll still walk away with some good content and maybe some additional exposure. Dating is really about sizing this person up as a potential match. We already said that. So let's explore some critical questions that you want to ask. Get them going and get them talking about themselves first. It's easier than you might think. Talk to them about their ideal client. Ask about what a typical client engagement looks like and get as many details as you can. What do they do? What do they expect the client to do? How do they help and support their clients along their financial journey? Do they communicate that they stay in their lane and they're okay with referring to coaches or other professionals for the rest? Are they aware of their own limitations and strengths? Do they go beyond just portfolios and numbers when it comes to financial wellness? Do they understand the role emotions and are comfortable enough with addressing emotions with their clients? Pay attention to nonverbal cues as much as you can. Do they provide you with good eye contact? Do they listen well before answering? Or do they interrupt, talk over you, or worse yet, talk down to you? Does their communication style mesh well with yours? You also want to observe and understand the advisor's practice and true capabilities. Sometimes it can be hard to tell what the advisor does because so many financial websites have the same laundry list of services. They seem like a one-stop shop for investing, insurance, taxes, estate planning, behavior, mindset, you name it. Be wary of the advisors that give the impression they have all the answers. The best financial professionals understand the value of teamwork. While many independent practices, such as the one my firm operates, do offer holistic services from insurance to investments to wealth management and estate planning, the way that we deliver those services is a lot like a medical office with a general practitioner and specialist under the same roof. We have a few advisors like myself that are the key point of contact and the main face of the relationship, but we then work within our practice to bring other specialists to the table in addition to working with external partners to deliver a comprehensive experience. I specialize in several areas myself, such as retirement income planning, but I'm not a jack of all trades and I don't pretend to be. Our clients understand that our firm takes a team approach to deliver our services, and we emphasize our commitment to to partnerships. At the end of the day, perhaps the most telling question will be, does this person sound like someone I'd be comfortable working with? If your gut answer is no, it's okay to move on. Okay, now it's getting serious. He's meeting the parents. We think we may have a winner. So how can you formalize things and solidify the partnership for the benefit of all parties? At this stage, the most important thing you need to do is to define what represents a win-win. After all, nothing harms a relationship more than unmet expectations that were really never discussed up front. A lot of this builds off of what we learned during the dating stage. And the key difference here is to discuss things under the framework of developing some form of working relationship. So let's go through the important key considerations to iron out. Always be upfront with what you want out of it. Are you looking for compensation or some kind of revenue? Or are you content with knowing you're handing off clients to someone that will help them take the next step? What kind of ongoing role do you want to play, if any? Maybe you're looking for referrals yourself and you want to have the expectation that this will be a give and take kind of a relationship. While I'll cover this in more detail later, it is important for you to be aware that there are significant regulatory restrictions on financial professionals when it comes to compensating people for referrals, especially if you are neither securities or insurance licensed yourself. So just bear that in mind so that you can form realistic expectations when it comes to money. Make sure you understand what the advisor wants out of it as well. If you're still unclear about what represents an ideal client, now is the time to get clear. Ask the advisor to provide as much details as he or she can, from income levels to earning potential, investable assets or wealth capacity and trajectory. Do they prefer certain occupations? Do they prefer couples or singles or both? Based on how the advisor might be compensated, what would they need to have happen in order for the referral to be profitable for them? Since advisors can often be paid several different ways, it is important for you to understand as much as you can about how that would work, especially to avoid sending clients who might not be in a position of buying right now or signing some kind of an engagement. If not seeing compensation in some form matters, you need to figure that out. In order for you to both win, you both have to be clear about what a win looks like. Define your roles and responsibilities crystal clearly. What should a good client transition look like, and what does the onboarding experience look like? Is it important that you make a clear transitional handoff? Who will do what and when in terms of that mutual handoff? Is it just a mutual email introduction, or does there need to be something more substantive involved? After a referral is made, should there be a joint Zoom call to get all parties on the same page? Or do you want to step away at that point and just let the advisor handle it? If you're expecting to get referrals from the advisor, how do you want to receive them, and how involved would you like the advisor to be? Do you both want to establish some form of annual joint client review so you can collaboratively maintain good relationships with the clients that you share? Do you need to incorporate a written authorization of some kind in order to share information? If you decide to share information between one another, be sure that you set up information security protocols to ensure data privacy and cybersecurity. Because the last thing you want to do is have a good referral go bad because of a data breach or a violation of privacy. Determine how you can collaborate beyond just the referral engagement. When I form strategic partnerships with other professionals, such as financial coaches, accountants, or attorneys, I always work extremely hard to find ways to become a brand ambassador for them, and vice versa. So talk about ways that you can support one another on social media, share posts, produce more joint content together, perhaps do a joint webinar or two. While a healthy working referral relationship is absolutely a win, it can be so much more if you're both willing to market for each other. So he liked it and he put a ring on it. And now, as you head to the honeymoon suite filled with referrals and maybe a little bit of chocolate, it's time to iron out the fine print. I want to take a lot of time to pull the curtain all the way back on the financial industry and help you understand a lot of the fine points about how various professionals operate and how they are regulated. For a marriage to last long term, you need to know what is allowed and what is not. Let's start with referral fees. A financial advisor is allowed to pay a referral fee to a third party for soliciting clients. However, the Securities and Exchange Commission imposes several rules on this practice. The practice of paying referral fees is legal provided that the advisor and the third party maintain a written arrangement detailing the nature of their relationship, the scope of the solicitor's activities, and the fee structure. Though the SEC does not require the referrer to register as an investment advisor, many states do impose this requirement. Just be aware that fee for referral arrangements may not always be possible, and if that's the case, you'll need to outline something else that works. Be aware of making recommendations. When communicating with the public through any form of content, you want to stay away from making specific recommendations about anything, as there's no way to know if that advice fits every person consuming your content or not. Both you and your advisor should be extremely vigilant and be sure your content is sufficiently broad, educational, and high level enough that it can be helpful to a diverse audience. If you're working on co-branded materials or cross-marketing, be prepared to have some patience, as most advisors need to submit their content through compliance. While this shouldn't add too much extra time, it is important to create sufficient margin to allow for the compliance process to be completed. Good advisor partners understand the regulatory requirements and should create a fluid working relationship with you and your followers that is empowering, not complicated. In my 16 years of working as a financial professional who has done everything from banking to lending to insurance to investing in private wealth management, I've been asked a lot of questions and I've seen several statements out there. So I want to take some final time to address some common misunderstandings that I think are really important to talk about. Well, they say insurance is all about price. No, it's all about coverage. Saving 15% or more doesn't matter if the policy you bought doesn't protect you completely from a bad accident. Insurance is complicated, and it must be tailored to your individual needs and objectives. And that is why I recommend you talk to an independent insurance advisor who can build the policy right first and then take it out to the market to find the best price. Build it right, and the price will follow. They say investing is all about low or no fees. I feel investing is about the following: risk, performance, then cost, in that order. It's important to have a sufficient level of understanding with any investment you might be considering. Additionally, you need to know your own ability to stomach volatility and what are the right kinds of investments you should consider based on your personal risk appetite and objectives. Next is performance. What are the best performing investments available to support your risk profile? And then third is cost. How can you find lower fee fund options or trading platforms now that you have designed a portfolio around risk and performance? Then there's the statement, fee only is the best. There's been a lot of media attention around advisors that earn commissions versus one that charge fees or do fee-based asset management and planning. There's also a lot of discussion around fiduciary duty. Now, there was recent legislation passed called Regulation Best Interest. The reality is that all financial professionals are regulated to have their clients' interest at heart and to make only recommendations that are individually tailored and appropriate. How a professional gets paid does not make him or her more or less trustworthy as a result. From insurance to investing to fee-only planning, the various different types of financial practices are not better or worse than each other. They simply operate differently and may be a better fit for certain people than others. Many financial advisors like our firm operate what's called a hybrid model, where they can work on a product or commission basis, or they can charge a fee. Hybrid models offer maximum flexibility to tailor the compensation to the client. Allowing consumers to choose how they would like an advisor to be compensated can be very valuable. As I mentioned earlier, not everyone can pay for fee-only advice, as some of the fees can be expensive, and many have also high account minimums. I believe that as long as the advisor is upfront with how they get paid, consumers are empowered to make the decision that they feel fits their circumstances best. As FinConners, we share a common passion to help consumers. Forming partnerships where appropriate, to me, seems like a natural extension of that passion. It's been a wonderful privilege sharing with you. I trust you got a lot out of this and are excited to go out and to develop some great partnerships. Thank you.